Hi strangers, and welcome to my first video. My name is Kat. Let's start by reviewing last month's bullet journal. The theme I went with was roller coasters. I love roller coasters so much, and I had so much fun with this theme. It fell into that late summer vibe, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. September's theme was inspired by National Teddy Bear Day on September 9th. When I saw that, it made me think of all the stuffies we've been getting for our daughter. The theme evolved to be a soft bedtime stuffy theme. For the calligraphy, I'm using Tombows, and when we get further in, I'm gonna start drawing some stuffies, and I'll be using like a really small Micron for the line work. And it takes me a super long time to realize that the bottom of the journal is out of frame, and oops, eventually I will fix that. I'll list all the supplies in the description box below in case you're curious. I wanted to keep the cover page pretty simple, a nice title, and then some stuffed animals. I went with a bunny stuffy for the front cover because it's my daughter's favorite currently. She's a future bunny girl, I think. She carries it around with her, and it's very cute. I've been doing art a long time, but since having a kiddo, it's been hard to find time to be creative, or anything else for that matter. My buddy Rachel is big into bullet journals and encouraged me to start one, and now it's a problem. I love having a creative outlet and a place to organize my thoughts and plans, and it's been a lot of fun. I think I started back in April, and I really just haven't stopped since. Now, since there isn't much to explain, let's just vibe to the music for a bit. So I'm like hella annoyed because I've yet to notice that my journal is out of the screen while I'm coloring all this in. And I'm using the Tombows to color it in. At the bottom, what you can't see is that there is a blanket that goes with the two stuffies. And I'll be using this really light blue Tombow to be making like a plaid pattern or gingham pattern, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll use that pattern throughout this spread. I've also found that it's pretty helpful to keep a very small color palette. So I'm only using that light purple, the pink, and the light blue. And I think I'll also be using a dark gray. So I'm just going to stick with those colors so they all stay pretty, the whole spread stays harmonious together. And I'm giving it a little border to make it all look like it goes together. For some reason, it just makes the cover page look way more complete. And for the curved corners, I just used, prior to filming, I used a washi tape roll to make the rounded corners for the cover. And throughout this, I do make little mistakes, and I do use like a very I use a white gel pen to kind of fix those errors. And I did cut a lot of the fixing out, but just know I make tons of mistakes, so we work around those mistakes. And what would the spread be without some sparkles and stars and moons to go with the sleepy time theme? By this point, I kind of start to realize that the title looks a little boring in comparison to everything else. And then I have the idea of putting the sparkles with my white gel pen into the actual September. And I think it turns out pretty nice. I keep it throughout the whole setup. And I've seen other YouTubers do it. I think Lutin does it. And I just love it, and it ended up turning out really, really nice. Better than I expected, really. The cover feels a touch off balance, so I decided to add a plaid shape below the September using my Tombow to make that plaid and cut out the shape. Finally, a girl realizes that I'm partially out of frame, and now you can see the whole journal, the full illustration in the blanket. On the next page, this is where I keep my goals for the month. So anything I want to get done, like making an October video for next month and planning for my trip in Japan in October, things of that nature. I also like to set small goals too, like taking the little to a playgroup. The goals can be as big as small as you want. Next category is meals. Just to kind of have an idea of stuff to make for the month for both me and the kiddo. It's nice to have for when I make a grocery list and I can't think of what I want to eat for the week. And lastly is media, to keep track of what books, movies, or TV shows I was watching during the month. Last month, of course, was Barbie movie. I think everyone saw it. But we're also really enjoying Zom 100 and the newest season of Jujutsu Kaisen. So, you know, maybe if you want to comment, let me know what shows you're enjoying right now. Now I'm using my light blue Tombow to highlight every other line. It just makes it feel more organized for when I'm actually tracking things. Now, keeping with some of the decorative qualities we did in the first page, I'm going to continue adding sparkles and stars into the titles of goals, meals, and media. I found a cute washi from Amazon, and they kind of look like stuffed teddy bears with the same kind of bow that we have on the bunny. So I decided I wanted to include that washi into this theme. I think it's cute. Might not 100% go with, but it's cute, so I'm doing it. At the bottom, I'm adding another Stuffy, but this time it's a long kitty Stuffy. And it's really funny, I just went to Target the other day after filming all of this, and I saw they had a giant long kitty Stuffy just like this, and I was like, I think I need it so bad. I feel like I somehow kind of like manifested it into the world. Obviously I didn't, but I felt like it, and it was very cool. using our Tombows, the same colors we were using previously. It's time to color our sweet buddy in and our flower pillow. And with that, done with the first spread, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Very cute, very soft, definitely the vibe I want. The second spread, the first page is going to be my calendar for the month, and a lot of the YouTubers I was following for bullet journals start with Monday, so my calendar will be starting on a Monday instead of a Sunday, which I think we're normally used to starting on a Sunday. But it makes so much more sense to start on Monday because that's kind of when your work week starts. Weekend feels like end of the week. I set my calendar to be 2 spaces tall and 3 spaces wide for each letter of the month. The grid itself is 5 spaces tall and 3 spaces wide for each day of the week. Also, sorry for sticking my dumb head in the frame. Oops. I'm just using my straight edge and my dark gray liner to make up the grid for the calendar itself. I'm also going to use my light blue Tombow to highlight the top line of each box. That is where I'm going to put the number for the day of the week. At the bottom of the page, I'm going to use more of that teddy bear washi because I adore it. And I'm actually going to use 2 strips of it just because there's so much white space at the bottom of that calendar. Use this calendar for a whole lot. just appointments and meeting reminders. I try to keep mine sized to 1 page since I don't use it a lot. I know a lot of people will size their calendar across both pages and use it for content planning and other things. Right now I don't see it being useful for me, but who knows, maybe in the future I'll upgrade and make it a full spread. Right now I wouldn't use it enough to justify it. I decided to frame my habits title with bows, like I gave to the bunny on the cover page, because I thought it'd be pretty cute and simple to do. They're really easy to draw overall. It does take me a hot second to get them done, but I do like how this page in particular turned out with all the bows. I split my habit tracker page into 2. The top bit is my daily trackers. I usually only track like 5 a month, but I'm trying out a different format. This space fits 6. Have to see how that goes, because I already struggled keeping track of 5, and I'm thinking maybe I'll just have to make sure my journal is with me a lot more than it currently is. At the bottom are my weekly habits, mostly reminding myself not to be a slob and help my husband with the housework. Usually my 4th one is always like some self-care, because that's always needed. With the ribbon bits, I do go over it, a few bits of it with the Tombow again to try and add a little depth and shadow to the bows, which I think turned out pretty nice. I bring in some flat tone washi because the bottom feels like it doesn't have a whole lot of decoration compared to the top. So I'm hoping that will add a little bit more balance. It's washi tape that you can write on, so I'll just write my weeklies there. This month I'll be tracking how often I work on art projects. practicing Japanese, exercising, not drinking soda, which has been very difficult challenge for me, doing a decent AM routine, and then lastly reading an extra book to my daughter. We read her 2 bedtime stories at night, but I thought it would be nice to throw in another during the day if I could. Feels like a small achievable goal. I take my white gel pen to highlight the boat because I felt like it needed something else, and I'm pretty happy with how the highlighted bits turned out. And then on to my weekly. Those are all just trying to help my husband clean around the house. With that, the second spread is done, and we will move on to our last spread before the weeklies. The first page is my brain dump page, just a good place to journal, write out thoughts, and I sometimes use it as a spot for ideas for future projects. At the bottom of the page, I decided to draw a stuffed dinosaur. I used the first giant Stuffy without Farron, my kiddo, for Christmas as inspiration. Basically all her stuffed animals and cough cough fine have been inspiration for this month's theme. And I mean, who doesn't like or still have Stuffies? They're pretty great. I made a similar border for this page to the cover page, still using washi rolls to make the rounded corners, and using my dark pink Tombow to frame the page. one thing I'm not super in love with is the little unicorn in the middle. It's alright, but it kinda looks like a pig unicorn. Definitely could have used more tweaking, but at least the rainbow horn turned out pretty alright, so that's good. They can't all be winners. And I'm using my light Tombow again to just highlight every line. It just, I don't know, it for some reason just looks a lot better to me that way, and it's easier for writing. This next bit is one of the pages I most enjoy filling out during and at the end of the month, my monthly review. I took it from Joshi Curran's bullet journals, but I just whittled it down to what I need to use it for. The first section is wins. I track the wins I have during the month, even small ones like taking a nice hot bath for like self-care. Memories, which is my favorite one. I usually put milestone Farron has or silly things she does, like last month she started growling when you say I love you, which kills me. And lastly is challenges, areas where I can see I need to grow in. For the rest of this page, I keep it relatively simple with decorating. I put the sparkles in and all that good stuff, and then I reuse that teddy bear washi tape and just do at the bottom a simple drawing of a crumpled up blanket and pillow to still keep with that sleepy time bed kind of theme. After finishing highlighting every other line, I can now jump to the last page we'll be doing, the first week of weeklies. Right now I'm using one page for 1 week instead of a whole spread for a week. That might change, but for now it keeps it pretty simple and quick. In the top left corner I'm going to put my calendar, and as you can see I already messed up and accidentally marked it. But we have our white gel pen so we can fix that problem. I find my bullet journal is a great space to practice Japanese, so I'm using kanji for each day of the week starting with Monday, or getsuyobi in Japanese, using the moon kanji. I try to use Japanese every so often in my bullet journal to kind of test myself. And I imagine you could do this with other languages too if you're trying to learn something else. I'll use my dark gray pen again, but to outline the days. Each day is 4 spaces tall and 15 spaces wide, with 1 space dividing each day. Then I'll outline the boxes for the calendars and notes. In a few seconds, the video will cut out weird. I wasn't paying attention while I was filming and my battery died. You don't miss a ton, just adding sparkles and some little bunnies with bows, so you'll see it once it cuts to what it looks like finished. And it should be doing that any second now. I added a box for bunnies so the page has some decoration, so it's not too bland. With all that done, let's do a quick flip through. I love how soft and sweet this turned out. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Next month, we will definitely set our sights on something a little more spooky to go with October. But thank you again for joining me for my first video. I'll see you again very, very soon.